All right, I got John on my right and James on my left. Thank you guys both for doing this interview. I appreciate it. So I'll go from right to left, I guess. On a scale of 1 to 10, how open-minded would you guys say you are? 10 being the most open-minded, 1 being the least.
I'm about an 8, I think.
8? What would you say?
I'm open-minded all the way. 10.
10? All right, fair enough. Cool. Do you think you should look at both sides in the argument before you come to a decision on something?
Sure.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right.
You said something about
All right.
That's from Destiny.
All right.
Oh,
Do you guys do you trust your senses, like common sense, like crossing the street, putting your clothes on, stuff like that? Your senses overall?
Yeah.
Trust your senses? All right. Do you guys trust the government?
Nah, 50-50 on that one.
50-50? Kind of 50-50 too, or
No, no.
no? You
I
just
don't
don't?
trust him at all.
All right. Fair
Zero.
enough. 0.
Yeah.
All righty. Do you think the majority is always right?
No.
No, I don't agree with that.
No, agree. All right, cool. How do you guys think everything came to be? Do you believe in, like, the Big Bang? Do you believe in creationism, or do you not really have a belief in it?
Personally don't really have a belief in it, one way or the other, just because I don't know.
Fair.
What's a big bang?
What's the Big Bang?
Yeah,
Well, that's what scientists say. That everything exploded kind of from nothing. That's kind of putting it simple or whatever.
Atomic
Or do you
split
believe?
or something.
Or do you believe God
Yeah.
created everything, or do you not
I'm
have a
not-
belief?
I'm not averse in the science stuff.
You're
So,
not-
no.
So no, you don't believe. So you really don't really have a belief in whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
That's fair. What would be your guys' definition of science? Kind of a broad question, I know.
I mean, it can be interpreted so many ways, but
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
it's the study of a particular field. And like I say, there's so many fields,
of,
that if you were more specific, maybe I could.
well, how about this? Would you guys agree with me? Science should be observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable. Like that would be the core science.
Well, yeah,
Observable,
yeah.
Core. All right.
Well, because you need the proof, so
Proof.
you know.
I'd agree. All right. Do you think science should ever be a closed book?
No.
No, because the nature of it is
The question thing.
the question, the investigations.
All right. To you, what's the difference between a belief and a knowing?
Belief.
Knowing is better.
Knowing's better. All right.
Well, belief is like you take it on faith, and I'm into more tangible things, knowing,
I got so like example, like some people believe in God,
Right.
and then but like a knowing would say there's 3 people who are talking. We'd say that's 100%
Right.
fact.
Right.
All right, cool. All right, this is where the subject goes off forever, and like I said, 95% of people don't believe in it. Believe what I'm saying, but I'm just asking you guys, what do you think about it? What shape do you guys think the Earth is? Do you believe it's flat? Do you believe it's an oblate spheroid like you've always been taught? Do you believe it's without form, or do you believe it's some other type of shape?
Round,
I believe it's wrong.
Do you believe it's round? Could I ask you guys why you believe that?
Well, I've seen pictures,
Pictures?
Images, yeah.
geography, all that.
Yeah,
I was in school 55 years ago.
55 years ago. All right, fair. Do you guys know anything about like fluid dynamics? Like how liquid? Like if I explained, would you agree with me? It's a 1,000,000% fact. Any liquid will take the shape of its container and level out. That's how liquid behaves in our reality.
No.
Would you agree? Or water takes the shape of its container and levels out always?
Shit.
I mean, you put it in
Yeah,
something, it
yeah.
can only be that shape.
That
Yeah,
shape.
yeah.
I'd agree with that. All right, so the Earth's covered in over 72% water. How could it be a sphere?
Say what now?
The Earth is covered in over 72% water. How could it be a sphere then?
A spear.
A sphere or a globe like they tell us, basically.
Assuming gravity.
Gravity?
I would say the same thing.
Gravity? I'd agree. They can measure things at 9.8 meters per second squared falling. That's what gravity is. They can actually measure that. But I would say that just because things fall at a certain rate doesn't actually prove the shape of anything. I don't know if you guys have heard about this subject or not. It's been going up and down like a lot of people, and I think the media is kind of pushing it down or whatever. But But that is, you know, gravity is a normal response. It's hung here by gravity's bending the oceans around the ball and whatnot. And that's what we're told. So, but would you be able to give me would you be able to give me a practical example of a body of water conforming to the exterior of a shape, you think?
An ice cube.
Like actually liquid though, not frozen.
No, a cup, a pop
It's-
can that conforms to the shape of the can.
I mean, it's conforming to it. I mean, the exterior. Because on the globe, we're led to believe water's bending around the ball and holding form around it, right?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And while we talk science should be observable, measurable, testable, repeatable, nowhere in nature does water ever conform to the exterior of a shape. Have you ever thought about stuff before? Not really. Most people ain't really thought about it. A buddy of mine came up to me and approached me like this 7 years ago, and I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
And then I kind of looked into it, and it had a lot of valid points. And there's actually some physicists, like there's some physics mathematicians and actually engineers like looking into it. I heard things about like the Antarctic Treaty during the space race and stuff. And you know, I just heard.
Excuse me, we're doing.
Hey, give me one sec, man. Just give me 1 sec, dude. Do you guys think we breathe the same stuff in space? Like,
No.
no.
No, well, I would assume not because that's hence the spacesuits and all of that.
Yeah. All right. So they tell us.
No.
Yeah. I'd agree. They tell us space is a vacuum. It's like, it's not a perfect negative pressure system, but it's as close as we can possibly get to a negative pressure system. And we live in a positive pressure system. So you guys have probably used like a pressurized deodorant canister before or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you puncture it, psh,
Right.
Yeah.
so it's known in like science application to have two opposing pressure systems, you need like a solid barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So would you be able to give me an example of two opposing pressure systems existing side by side without a solid separation? Because they're telling us our atmosphere is adjacent to the vacuum of space with no solid barrier. And that's a contradiction to me, just like the water thing.
Well, wouldn't air and water be opposing?
Not pressure systems though, air and water, like I'm talking about like actual pressure, air pressure. Like, no one's ever given me an example. This, I mean, I ain't trying to trick you guys up or nothing. I've done a bunch of these interviews or whatever, and people are always kind of like, thinking about it, and you know. Do you guys know the difference between eclipses, like solar eclipse and lunar eclipse?
Solar is when I just know it's the sun's covered by the moon.
Yeah, the solar sun covered by the moon, and then the lunar eclipse is when, like if you hold both your hands out, say like this or whatever, or say the sun's like if you had both hands out, the sun would be in between, say the moon's on one side and the sun's on the other, and the earth's in the middle. They say it's the sun casting the earth's shadow on the moon, basically.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Because it's always nighttime during the lunar eclipse or whatever.
Okay.
That's what, you know, you believe if you believe there's a
Right.
sphere like we're taught.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd actually say, like, would you guys agree the sun's round?
So what?
The sun is round. Would you say the sun's round?
Looks
It
round.
appears.
It appears round.
It appears
I think everything in the sky looks round to me. I mean,
Yeah.
Moon, everything.
yeah, for sure. So what this theory is kind of pushing is the sun's exactly across from the opposite side of it. So would you be able to disprove that it's actually the sun blocking out the moon during the lunar eclipse? It's not the Earth's shadow, it's actually the sun blocking it out.
I believe that.
You believe that it's the sun blocking out? So then, but if you believe that, then you wouldn't believe the Earth was a round ball though.
Why not?
Because if you believe it's the Earth's shadow casting it, the sun would be blocking out
Well, the sun blocks the earth out.
the sun blocks the Earth out?
Yeah.
You're saying, you're saying, well, day and night or whatever you're talking about. But I'm talking about like a lunar eclipse or whatever.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
That one I don't.
yeah. I mean, all right, have you guys ever heard of like the star Polaris before? The North Star?
Yeah, I've heard.
All right. Well, this way, have you guys ever seen the movie The Matrix before?
I've never watched it actually.
Ever seen The Matrix?
No, I never. I know it's a
Alright.
big series, and
It's
but-
pretty cool or whatever.
Yeah.
But I kind of think we're living something like The Matrix or something. But it's just my opinion, obviously.
Isn't it like alternate realities or something? Or
It's kind of like that, and yeah, they're in like a dream state and they wake up in a real state. I'm not saying it's exactly like that, but I mean
Right.
like the world like might not have a shape or whatever. You don't really know what reality is. People are walking around and they don't really know what the reality is living in, hypothetically. But anyhow, the North Star, it's basically what I call it like a realm, basically what we're living in, like formless, whatever you want to say, like a level realm. And basically it's a fact. You can look at it. It's called North Star time lapse, and you can look up at it. And the North Star it vibrates a little bit, but like the stars do perfect geocentric circles around it.
Hey, where's my phone at?
Hmm?
But the North Star does basically perfect geocentric. It has stars doing perfect geocentric circles around it. Would you be able to disprove it's possible that everything's actually spinning around us, causing the Coriolis effect in each part of the world? The moon would push the tides, the sun would contract the tides. They say if you shoot a bullet west when the sun's there, the bullet will dip down because of the Coriolis effect. I say that's based off a false axiom, and if you shoot a bullet west at nighttime when the moon's there, it'd bounce up. And like I said, the lunar eclipse is the sun blocking out the moon. Would you guys be able to disprove it, you think?
No.
No?
I
Beyond
certainly
me.
couldn't.
No?
I didn't even follow you.
Yeah, it's a lot of quick information coming at you, man. But I'll give one more example. Usually, if we went to a tennis court right now, and we had like 15 tennis balls, and we threw them all over the tennis court, would that turn the tennis court into a round ball?
No.
No. So just because you guys see circles in the sky, does that mean you're living on a ball?
No.
No?
I mean, you know, it's just the image, the visual image.
That's been put since you've been a little kid or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the sun looks round.
Oh yeah, I agree with everything up
What are
in.
you, a science teacher or something?
I've been to college and stuff, and I've like looked into the stuff, and like I said, I looked at this and I thought this was like the stupidest thing ever, because I mean, almost kind of says what the Bible's saying and stuff, you know. And I was like, man, that's what my buddy said this to me. I was like, what do you think you're special, man? You're stupid. And I kind of started looking at the moon missions. I was like, I came to the conclusion, they might have faked the moon missions. And then so I looked at the theory he was talking about, and it kind of put me on my ass like within 45 minutes. Like I'm thinking about stuff I'd never thought about before, and it gave me information I never thought about. And like you said, you don't trust the government, and you know you're 50-50 on it. So I
don't think
mean,
nobody does.
huh? You said what?
I don't think anybody trusts you guys.
There's some of these, it's weird. Some people are like you, say no, I don't. Some people are like I trust them, and some people are like you, 50-50. You gotta pick and
Right,
choose.
right.
I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like 50-50. I like
Yeah.
you gotta pick and choose what you trust from them.
There's going to be some things that I guess it's a matter of your acceptance.
Yeah,
If you agree with what they're saying, you know, okay, that must be true. And
yeah,
if you disagree, then it's bullshit, you know.
yeah. Whether it's just
Well, yeah, I guess that wouldn't make it a lie, but
I mean, it could be true, and you might not believe it or whatever.
Right.
Just like I could be questioning the shape of the Earth. It could be a ball or whatever, like we're told or whatever. But
Yeah.
you know, I'm just kind of questioned because I put out there, and a lot of like the main fact that like the people that I've like, there's a guy named Gab. He's on Beyond Imaginary Curve. He's about 55 years old. He has honors degree in mathematics and physics, and he don't believe anything they're saying no more. And there's like engineers and stuff like they're questioning it because I mean you come across new information and stuff, and they just don't. And they keep pushing the moon missions back, and they haven't been back in 50 years, and that whole Antarctic Treaty thing, and there's a bunch of stuff you can like look into, and like I said, it's two facts of physics no one's ever going to show you. No one's ever going to show you water clinging to a rock, and no one's ever going to show you how two opposing pressure systems can exist side by side without a solid barrier. And if you were born today, and you were always taught like the Earth was just stationary and the sun and moon went around us, and that's how the eclipses work, and I came up to you like after all your whole entire life and said, no, we're on a ball spinning 1,000 miles an hour, going around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour, and the sun's going 500,000 miles an hour, you'd look at me like I was nuts, probably. I mean, if you really think about it like that, right? But I mean,
yeah,
you know,
like you say, it goes against
the mainstream,
the whole-
basically.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
sure.
You guys are great.
Yeah.